This is the Hollyland Lark M2. Look, I don't know you and you don't know me, but I do know one thing about your videos, at least your viewers of your videos. I know that no matter what kind of video you make, your viewers, they don't want to think about the audio of that video, which I know is shocking because as video creators, we think so much about all the nitty-gritty details of everything. And to think that they don't even want to consider that is kind of insulting a little bit, but that's the reality. They don't care. But the moment that they start thinking about the audio, you've taken them out of the story that you're trying to tell. Kind of like when I went to the built-in mic of this camera when I was talking. The sound is crap. Do I hear air conditioning in the background? What's happening? It completely took you out of the story. If a boom pole starts to fall in the shot, all of a sudden you're thinking about that. And that's why I don't love this new trend towards a more visible microphone when you used to have a lav mic that was much more low profile, but this, the Hollyland Lark M2, is one of the smallest versions of this new wave of microphones that I've been seeing, and I'm very excited about that. And the first thing I think about when I look at this mic is the size, but there's a lot of stuff going for this. Right now what you're hearing is the audio from the Hollyland Lark M2. I'm just going to call it the Lark or the M2. That's a long name. But to be honest, I had never heard of this company until getting this microphone for work. And the thing that attracted me to it, I honestly just found it on Amazon, and I was attracted to the price more than anything. And I figured, heck, it's worth a shot. And this was before I saw any sort of reviews about it. I just went for it. So it's no secret, like I'm not holding back. There's a lot of good coming for this microphone, but it's not perfect. Yes, you do have the great price, you do have the size, you do have good sound quality, but there are some drawbacks to getting a mic of this size. But let's get to that in just a little bit. The full kit comes with two small microphones, different kinds of receivers. You got the main camera, the Lightning, and the USB-C. But it's important to note that the main camera receiver and the two microphones are the only thing that come in the hard case. The rest comes in this soft case, and I think you're encouraged to even put the hard case in the soft case, along with everything else. And now, I'm grateful that there is a case for this. There is a bag that comes with it, and they don't just ship you all these different cables and accessories and these magnets that are supposed to go around your neck. There's so many different ways to mount this, so a lot of stuff comes with it. But one of the more annoying things about this situation is if I wanted to use this strictly for a social media type microphone, I'm gonna have my microphones as well as my Lightning receiver or adapter. But the hard case really only holds the microphones and the camera receiver. And yes, technically I could take out the camera receiver and put in the Lightning iPhone receiver in its place. It's a little janky, but you could do it. But what I don't understand is, like, this is not a case that I'm gonna put in my pocket. It's not small enough for that, but these small little phone receivers are so thin, this case could have been just slightly bigger and held all of this. So just making it just a little bit bigger, I feel like would have made a big difference in the user experience of this case. What I do like though is everything that does need charged can be charged in this case. So the Lightning receiver and the USB-C receiver, they don't actually hold a battery. They don't have power, so they don't need charged, but the camera receiver and the microphones do, so you put that in there, plug this case into USB-C, and it charges everything all at once. So speaking of the receivers, let's talk specifically about the camera receiver. It has a 3.5 millimeter as you would expect, but it also has a USB-C, so you can plug straight into your computer and use the microphones going straight into your computer that way. And there's also a gain dial on the top of the microphone, and two things about that. One positive and one a little bit more negative. I love the fact that there is a physical dial on the top of this. I like that way better than like the Rode Wireless Go system, where you have to click a button a whole bunch of times to cycle through all the gain levels. I like just having like a dial where I can tune that in exactly. The things I don't love about the dial are there's really only three settings: low, medium, and high. And I find myself just defaulting to low all the time and turning up the gain on my camera, because what happens if I turn the dial up to high on the receiver is, like, for example, and I'll give you an audio test here in just a second so you can see what I'm saying, but on the C70, the camera I'm shooting with right now, I will have to turn the volume all the way down to like 15% or so. And even then, like, the levels look good, but you're getting like this distortion. All right, this is a simple microphone test of somebody who's probably projecting a little bit louder. I just want to test the levels. As you can see, the levels coming out of the camera are actually pretty decent, but there is a lot of distortion, and it is not super pleasant to listen to. So what that means is out of the receiver, it's already coming to me distorted, which is not good. That's not usable. So I end up having to turn the receiver all the way down and then pumping the gain on the camera. And so maybe there is a situation that I have not run into where I would use those two medium and high settings, but honestly, it's pumping out so much sound that I just default to the low setting. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. You just kind of have to watch it when you plug it in, make sure that you're really checking your levels and stuff. Because if you have somebody who's much louder talking, even the low setting, you're gonna get a little bit of distortion, which I found, and that sucks because you can't do anything about it. But going back to the positive things about the receiver, it does have the capability to have a separate left and right track between the two microphones. So you can have two people wearing the microphone and have two different audio recordings happening at the same time in your left and your right channel. But I will note that that is only true for the camera receiver and not the mobile receivers, the USB-C and the Lightning receivers. And I made that mistake because I assumed that it was going to be the same situation on those, and I got some unusable footage when that happened. Let's talk about the microphones themselves. This is the microphone right here, and it's probably getting really loud when I look right down to it, so I will try not to talk too loud. But they are magnetic, and I don't know why, but I'm really digging magnetic things lately. So what you have is you have one side that is the back of the magnet, and then you have the microphone itself, and you put that under your shirt, and it just clips to itself. And the nice thing is they're really lightweight. They're 9 grams, so it doesn't tug and pull on your shirt. One of the super nice parts about this mic is there's a little yellow button on the side of each of these mics. And they've got multiple functions. If you press this button 2 times, it actually acts as a remote to start the recording on your phone. But I also love that when you click it 1 time, it turns on noise canceling mode. Now, speaking of noise canceling, let's do a little bit of a test. I am currently in a room where I store a lot of video equipment that's not optimal for video sound. As you can see, I've got a AC unit behind me, and this is the room that I'm shooting the A-roll of this video in. But what do you do when you have a constant sound like that? That's where noise canceling really comes in, so let's put this to the test. Currently, what you're hearing is this microphone with noise canceling on. As you can see, kind of, that little LED light is green. But all it takes is me pushing that button 1 time, and let's hear what it sounds like without noise canceling on. This is a test without noise canceling on. Now, just with the headphones on, I can definitely tell that there is a difference, especially when I stop talking. You can hear that constant noise in the background. And this is with it back off. Now, when you turn noise canceling on, you do get a little bit more of a robotic sound to your voice because it's doing a lot of processing to get rid of that noise. But personally, I think it's better than having the constant noise in the background. But I'm curious your thoughts because I've had noise canceling on for this entire video because I'm shooting in this room. Have you noticed a little bit of a more processed sound? Let me know in the comments. But personally, I don't think it's too bad. Testing 1, 2, check, check, check. But I also want to note battery life of these guys because it is such a small device and it is very lightweight. The battery in this thing is not super intense. So it being unplugged from the case for about 30 to 45 minutes, it's going to be dead. So be prepared for that. You can't do super long shoots. This is really more for social content than anything. However, it does bring me back to the original thing I was saying about people don't really want to think about the audio of your videos. So really for you, it's got to come down to you deciding, is this something that you're okay with seeing in your video shoots? If it's social content, absolutely, why not? But if you're shooting weddings and stuff, you probably don't want to put a microphone like this on the groom's suit or something like that. It probably needs to be a little bit more hidden, a little bit more low profile, because those guys are paying a lot of money for you to make something very professional. And I don't think this screams professional. But I will give a lot of credit to Hollyland because when they sent these mics after I bought them, I was pleasantly surprised to see that they came with stickers to cover up the logos that are on this mic. And honestly, I think a big reason that we're seeing a lot of these types of microphones coming out is marketing. And that's more of a theory, conspiracy theory type thing that I don't have proof for, but we are really starting to normalize you seeing the microphones in the shot. And the only reason I can think that all these companies are moving towards that style of microphones is they get to put their logo on everybody's chest. And maybe that's not true. I need to look into that to see if there's anything to back up that theory. But because of that, I did love that Hollyland included stickers to cover up their own logo. Like, a lot of respect for that. But more than anything, that just tells me that Hollyland, they're thinking about not just the marketing for their own company, but they're thinking about creators and how can they give us tools to tell good stories. Because this can be a distraction to the telling of the story that we want to tell. I don't know, if you wanted me to try to do a deep dive on why we're seeing a whole bunch more microphones in this type of style that clips onto your shirt and is very visible, let me know, because I feel like there's something there. Why are we seeing the new wave of this type of microphone? I'm thinking I might investigate into that. Let me know in the comments what you think. We'll see you in the next video.